Americans and soon to be Americans, we are in a tariff war. Trade war, let's go. Huge trade war. The drama's crazy. The content is huge. Everyone will be like, Nux, why are you laughing at the downfall of your own people? The content is good. Downfalls, we collect all the downfalls. Downfalls are like Pokemon. They are there to be gathered by me specifically, the next Pokemon master. We will gather downfalls and we will sort them into the giant downfall tier list that'll be happening at some point in the near future. Who knows when, but it'll be great. So let's be real here. I am Lord Nuxanor, lover of chaos, fan of insanity, and I am also a Canadian and an American. I am a dual citizen. I am literally the only person qualified to talk about the great Canada versus America drama. Trump versus Trudeau rap battle is insane. I hope you're all ready for my incredible coverage, because I have opinions. Lots of opinions. Cryo Trump. We're gonna freeze him. He'll win every 4 years. He's cryogenically frozen. He'll keep winning. He keeps happening. I hope you're ready for the Nux hot take. I didn't see anyone actually cover this properly because I see either people just glazing Trump or just saying that Trump is evil. I don't see any middle ground. I'll be honest, I am leaning more towards one side in this specific situation, but I do have a lot of nuance in my opinions, and there's a lot of chaos that I'm excited to show you. The Democrats are having meltdowns. It's a bargaining strategy. It's bad. It's good. It's bad. Is it good or is it bad? Stay tuned. So anyway, Trump tweeted this. Literally yesterday. Today, I have implemented a 25% tariff on the imports from Mexico and Canada, 10% on Canadian energy, and a 10% additional tariff on China. I like China. I like the people there. They make my butt plugs. This was done through the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, EPA, because of the major threat of illegal aliens and deadly drugs killing our citizens, including fentanyl. We need to protect Americans as my duty as president to ensure the safety of all. I made a promise on my campaign to stop the flood of illegal aliens and drugs from pouring across our borders. An American overwhelmingly voted in favor for it. And whether you like it or not, he is spitting facts. He is telling the truth. People voted Trump in, I think, primarily immigration, drugs, shit pouring over the borders. I have a very hot take, and I'll be real. I don't think almost anyone is fully aware of the take that I have. Trump, President of America, first and foremost, has an obligation to the people of America. I know this is a hot take because we're so used to, the Biden administration sending $50 million of condoms to Gaza. We're so ready for we're so used to all that. We're not used to someone that actually recognizes that the number one goal of the president of the United States should be for the people of the United States, but that is what is going on. Now, I want to give you a statistic. Only 1% of the fentanyl that actually crosses the border is from Canada. 99% of the fentanyl crossing the border is from Mexico. So the idea of a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada is a little weird. It's a little sussy. Sussy-wussy. But I have an entire huge theory here. I don't think these tariffs are going to be here to stay. I do think it's a bargaining tactic. And I do think that Trump denying it's a bargaining tactic is also a bargaining tactic. 15 million in condoms, not 50? No, it's $50 million of condoms that were used for terrorists to make bombs by the Biden administration, which I think is a crazy thing. So I hope you're ready for the insanity of the rabbit hole we are about to go down. All right, so it all started with this. President Trump explains his tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China. So we're going to watch his explanation. We're going to go through all the stuff, all the shit, because every time I see Democrats talking about this, it's Trump is evil, he's a bully, he's bullying our allies, the economy is gonna die, everything is sad, the world is bad, his orange glow is giving me rashes. All right, that's the Democrat take. And from what I see, most Republican take is, yeah, Orange Man! And a lot of people aren't actually engaging in the topic. Even though, yeah, Orange Man is definitely a sentiment I understand.
Mexico, it's the same thing. We have a $250 billion deficit, and we have a lot of people coming into the border, and now we've largely stopped that, but we've stopped that ourselves. And I think they've done a fantastic job. You've seen the numbers, they've dropped to almost zero. But we've suffered under the past administration for years and years. We've suffered with millions of criminals coming into our country. Criminals, people from jails from all over the world. They come through Mexico, and they come through Canada Canada too. A lot of them come through Canada, and a lot of fentanyl comes through Canada. And China makes the fentanyl. China makes the fentanyl, gives it to Mexico, puts it through Canada, puts it through different places, mostly Mexico, but also a lot through Canada.
Like 1% from Canada. But again, I'm not trying to minimize 1% of fentanyl coming from Canada. I want to make this clear. That shouldn't be happening. That absolutely 100% should not be happening, okay? Even though it's just 1%, it shouldn't be happening. The end.
And so all three haven't treated us very well.
There was significant.
Can I ask you about your meeting with NVIDIA? What did you talk about, and do you think you need to ban more of the chips that they're selling to China?
Well, he's a great gentleman, and I hadn't met him. He's the biggest in the world in terms of chips. And I can't say what's going to happen with it. We had a meeting. It was a good meeting. But eventually we're going to put tariffs on chips. We're going to put tariffs on oil and gas. That'll happen fairly soon. I think around the 18th of February.
I'll take a chip and I'll eat it.
And we're going to put a lot of tariffs on steel. We already have tariffs on steel.
So I've made my position on tariffs pretty clear before this whole thing, and I actually didn't change my mind yet. Just to say, to be clear, I don't love the tariff idea. Now, I think Trump, the orange man, as we bask in his glow, his orange glow, I really think the reason why he is so pro-tariffs is because it's such a good bargaining chip. For a very long time, America was kind of just the grandpa of the rest of the world. Just going out there, helping everybody out with things that they need. Yes, they'll take L's on basically every single deal. That sucks. And the tariffs, I think, are a very good way to negotiate with countries and say, listen, we're happy to help you. You got to help us as much. And it's kind of an end to the status quo. I think as far as an economy goes, I don't see tariffs helping unless they directly counteract taxes. Like, if you stop export tax and swap that with tariffs, that would be fantastic. But that's not what happened yet. So again, I don't love the tariff idea, but I do think it's done as like a bargaining chip, kind of to try to make equal deals and opportunities with everyone. Get ready for the Canada takes. I'm gonna cover Trudeau's response and Pierre Poilievre's response. You're so ready.
We've saved our steel industry, but that was relatively small compared to what it'll be. But we're going to be putting tariffs on steel and aluminum and ultimately copper.
So the irony of Trump's discussion here, as you can see, he's explaining two things completely separately. And I think that this is fascinating. I think whoever is coming up with this business strategy on Trump's side is actually kind of cooking. Trump said, if you notice, he said two things at the same time. Two things at the same exact time. He said, one, we're doing tariffs because there's drugs and illegal immigrants pouring over the borders. And two, we're doing tariffs on all sorts of metals and chips and stuff because it's good for the economy. He said this for two separate reasons. One, as a deterrent, and two, for the economy. I personally think it's all for a deterrent. I think he's saying that it's for the economy as part of the deterrent strategy to make it look like the tariffs are here to stay. I think it's all part of the giant evil plan, and you will see I'll be right. I'll be right because the moment other countries are going to buckle, kiss the ring, and buckle, the tariffs will stop. And it was never actually about the economy. It was always the business move. Anyway.
Copper will take a little bit longer, and that'll happen pretty quickly. It'll mean it'll be a great boost for our steel industry. It'll make our steel industry very strong.
Maybe.
If I didn't put the tariffs on years ago on steel, which actually Biden left because there was so much money that they couldn't do anything about it, I think we would have lost. We wouldn't have one steel mill in this country if I didn't do that. We saved the steel industry.
Oh, Biden.
So it was an honor to do it, and I think the people that love me most in the whole world are people that make steel. But we're going to be putting sometime this month, next month, we're going to be putting tariffs on steel and aluminum.
Dude,
and
it's crazy.
An announcement as to what the exact date is.
Like, the world is actually shaking. Like, I'll be real here. This is a strong man. This is a strong man that people either fear or respect or both. And realistically, you do need a strong man to make decisions. Not this fucking bitch shit.
But
this Biden muppeting around, literally puppeteering that guy.
It'll be a tremendous amount of money for our country, a tremendous amount. These are big numbers. And in addition to that, and you see the power of the tariff. I mean, the tariff is good, and nobody can compete with us because we have by far the biggest piggy bank. And so that'll take place very quickly. But also we'll be doing pharmaceuticals. And to bring our industry back, we want to bring pharmaceuticals back to the country. And the way you bring it back to the country is by putting up a wall, and the wall is a tariff wall.
I mean, and on this, he is just factually correct. That the upside of tariffs is that it won't be worth importing shit, so that people in America can actually do things that are relying on people in America. It'll be better for everyone in America in the very long term. In the short term, it means that the economy crashes. In the long term, the wall man makes another wall that will ultimately potentially make a more self-sufficient nation, which is definitely a good thing. Now, it gets crazier. It gets crazier.
The richest country in the world, we were at our richest from 1870 to 1913. That's when we were a tariff country. And then they went to an income tax concept, and, how did that work out? It's fine. I mean, it's okay, but...
Get rid of income tax. Get rid of income tax, please, Orange Man. I pay taxes in Canada and in America. Fuck.
Would have been much better. So we'll be doing pharmaceuticals, importantly, and drugs, medicines, etc. All forms of medicine and pharmaceuticals. And we'll be doing, very importantly, steel, and we'll also be doing chips and things associated with chips.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's his plan. It's a two-pronged strategy. On the one hand, tariffs to push off all these other countries that are taking advantage of the United States, and secondly, economically speaking. Now, it gets funnier, a lot funnier, because the reporters start cooking. That's not accurate, Nux. Canada's America's largest. I'll get to Canada. Give me a second. Let me cook. I have not seen a single person actually tackle this topic from beginning to end. Let me cook. Okay? All is good. Don't worry. Reporter. Look at the reporter asking him dumbass questions. I love this.
President, is there anything China, Canada, and Mexico can do tonight to forestall your implementation of tariffs tomorrow?
Are you ready? Are you ready for the response? Is there anything they can do tonight? Is there anything they can do? Are you ready?
No.
This is a businessman. This is a fucking businessman. This is crazy.
Not right now, no.
Not a negotiating tool?
No, it's not, no.
I love how he keeps saying it's not a negotiating tool, but it is. I think him saying it's not a negotiating tool makes it such a much more effective negotiating tool. This is my strategy, okay? Listen, this is my conspiracy is every time he says it's not a negotiating tool, it makes it a stronger negotiating tool.
You're economic. We have big deficits with, as you know, with all three of them. And in one case, they're sending massive amounts of fentanyl, killing hundreds.
See, why is he talking about fentanyl? I love this. He mixes them together. Why is he talking about fentanyl? Why the fuck is he talking about fentanyl? I thought we were talking about tariffs for the economy. Because it's the biggest marketing tool of all fucking time. And it's an even bigger one if he claims it's not. It's like it's business 101, but since it's on the political landscape, retards think that it's a trade war. It's so fun. I love this. It just gets better. I pulled up, I have all the tabs, I have all the things that need to be said. The reporters kept cooking. All right, I'm gonna leave this up here so you can read this because this is pretty windy. You won't be able to necessarily hear anything. All right?
President, what does Mexico need to do?
All right, so what do Canada and Mexico need to do?
What are specifically you want? That have to balance out their trade, number one. That's got to stop people from pouring into our country, and we've stopped it. They haven't stopped it. We've stopped it. They have to stop people from pouring in, and we have to stop fentanyl, and that includes China. Fentanyl has killed this year at least 200,000 people.
So, again, mixing the strategies in one. And he's very consistent. He's very consistent with all of his responses every time some other reporter manages to find him, manages to ambush him with the same very consistent response. They gotta stop to fentanyl. They gotta trade with us fairly. I have, again, we're gonna get to the Canada take in a second. It'll be good. But there's another question they asked him here that wasn't shown in the previous one. This one's kind of crazy. This was crazy.
Well, it could happen. If they do anything, we will. Canada's been very abusive of the United States for many years. They don't allow our banks. Did you know that? Canada does not allow banks to go in.
He's completely right, okay? Canadian American citizen over here. I have a bank account in Canada and in America. Why the fuck is it not the same ass bank? Why the fuck do I need a different bank? Canadian banks are allowed in America, but American banks are not allowed in Canada. All right, I have a Citibank account in America. There's no Citibank in Canada. But don't worry, because I have a TD bank in Canada, but there is a TD branch in America. It is interesting. It's a very interesting idea. The U.S. banks maybe are subsidiary banks, but from my personal experience as someone that has bank accounts in both countries, dual citizen, it's fucking annoying It is incredibly annoying and cringe. It almost makes it look like, suspiciously enough, it almost looks like America's getting the short end of the stick with their little deals with Canada. Almost. Now, again, I think that the point of these tariffs are to get close the borders and whatever and all that shit and make it a marketing ploy. But also, I think this is an opportunity for Canada to start actually being a little bit self-living, to actually survive a little bit more. Because Canada itself is so reliant on the US, and the US is very quick to buckle to Canada on different deals over the years. This is like a huge classic businessman strategy. In business, every side needs to win. That's how business works. Every side needs to win in a business deal. You can't just be doling out favors to literally everybody. And as it stands right now, I think both are losing in a way. Because the moment there's any friction, both countries are cooked. Canada has land, it has resources. Why is it 100% reliant on the United States? Again, the alliance is good, and I want the alliance to stay forever. And I don't like the idea that there is friction right now between Canada and America. I'll be real, I don't like it as a Canadian and an American. But I think both countries need to be self-sufficient to some extent too. They can't constantly exist as some sort of symbiote on another country. I don't think that's healthy either. But the thing about this friction is, the crazy thing about this friction is, I hope it brings us to a brighter future. I hope it brings us to a time where Canada and America are both self-sufficient and both allies. That's what I personally hope for. I like to think that that's what Trump is hoping for. Also, obviously, I don't know what's going on in his orange head, but that is what I'd like to believe is happening.
Think about it, that's pretty amazing. If we have a U.S. bank, they don't allow them to go in.
Weird, huh?
Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially. They don't allow a lot of things in, and we allow everything to come in. It's been a one-way street. We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Mexico, we've had very good talks with them. And this is retaliatory. This is retaliatory to a certain extent.
Yeah, retaliatory definitely doesn't sound like something that you do purely for the economy. Again, I think it is a mix of economy and actual just fucking around with like the fuck around find out mentality. But the point is, I think there definitely should and could be a two-way street. And if Canada has a deal, like if America decides to ask Canada, hey, let's use the bank thing as an example. Hey, can we have our American banks in Canada just like Canada could have their Canadian banks in America? Why would Canada ever say yes? They wouldn't. But, interestingly, if now they're afraid of tariffs, they might play the game. They might play the game. And I really feel like that's kind of what we're looking at right now. We're looking at essentially a giant basic business negotiation. An incredibly basic business negotiation, but it's politicized and dramatized, and it's red versus blue, and you got the red pedophiles and the blue pedophiles. They're after each other's throats every time. Cryo Trump, he'll be back every 4 years. We'll love him, it's great. But anyway, it gets so much funnier. So much funnier. So, Trump continues to get asked the same question again and again and again, and every single time, he answers the same way. It is economic. It is not negotiating.
And is there anything China, Canada, and Mexico can do tonight to forestall your implementation of tariffs tomorrow?
No, nothing.
Yeah, we saw this clip already, but yeah, no, you just, no. And they'll argue that, wait a second, it's retaliatory, it's not negotiating. He'll keep claiming it's about the economy, but I think that just makes the negotiation tactic stronger. Now, Trump then tweets something fucking unhinged, which again, maybe it's the cynic in me. I do like chaos, and we're gonna get to the meltdowns in just a little bit. Dude, don't worry, guys. The meltdowns are very, very funny. The meltdowns are gonna be great. We pay hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. This is not true. Again, it's a marketing tactic. I think it's a business strategy. America does need shit that Canada provides. Ultimately, I think they could America could be self-sufficient with, the resources and stuff that they have. But this is kind of funny. We have unlimited energy, should make our own cars, and have more lumber than we could ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh but true, therefore Canada should become our cherished 51st state. Much lower taxes, and far better military protection for the people of Canada, and no tariffs. Again, I think this is just laying the tariff thing a little bit thicker in order to negotiate better trade agreements in regards to energy and in regards to export and banking and shit like that. Canada's not becoming the 51st state, even though it would be very funny if it happened. North Dakota, it'll be huge. It'll be amazing. We love it. Yeah. Now, the irony is lower taxes but more expensive health insurance is a crazy trade-off. All in all, Canada's army is kind of not really an army. It's kind of like 3 guys on horseback. I'm not trying to shit on Canada here, but like, listen, if this came down to it, the Mounties ain't really putting up to any sort of fight. Okay, if it really comes down to it, I'm just saying the army is not a threat. They are just as nice as they are ruthless. Okay. Now, I think he says this like as a half joke, half to focus on how advantageous it is for Canada to have America as an ally, so they can have a better trade agreement that's better for America. That's my theory. I could be wrong. Moving on. Canada response. Trudeau takes to the floor. Justin Jennifer Trudeau, a man fighting for all of, I was gonna say mankind, but he says that we're supposed to say people kind in Canada because that's sexist to say mankind. Fuck this guy. Holy shit. Why is he still here? Anyway, moving on. He has the most beta bitch response of all time.
I am announcing Canada will be responding to the U.S. trade action with 25% tariffs against $155 billion
Let's go.
worth of American goods.
Is this really going to help anyone? Who is this helping? Let me ask. Who is this helping? Tell Trump we'll play the game, okay? Let's make and negotiate a fair agreement, and we will make sure that our border is more secure. But no, of course not. Pussy lips, blackface Trudeau sits out here. Huge take, crazy strategy. Let's see how it plays out for him.
This will include immediate tariffs on $30 billion
I feel like it hurt his ego, and he's coming out with like one of the most wild shit
worth of goods as of
humankind works but not people kind. All right, someone in chat is arguing with the Prime Minister of Canada, glorious nation of Canada, okay? He said people kind, not humankind, because human has the word man in it, okay? That's Hugh people. We will be changing human to Hugh people. I don't want to see any more of this bigotry and sexism in my chat. We're coming for your genders. What is going on?
Tuesday, followed by further tariffs on $125 billion worth of American products in 21 days' time.
I'm telling you, people have no media literacy anymore. Like, again, I am a fucking blue idiot on the internet. I am not going to sit here and make believe I understand political warfare and trade wars and the very complex economic shit between Trump and America, but holy fuck, man.
To allow Canadian companies and supply chains to seek to find alternatives.
Another L to be added to Trudeau's list of L's. But don't worry, his speech gets worse. Like, it's so sad. Like, watch a reporter ask him a question and he just immediately gets sad. Trump is a strong leader. This man is a tissue, okay? Look at him just get sad. That's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It's the worst thing ever. If you're a president, you don't get sad when reporters ask you questions.
When did you first learn that President Trump intends to increase tariffs if Canada retaliates, and how has that changed your strategy?
It looks like he just got news of Holocaust 2. That's him right now. What's happening?
I think Canadians understand that
I am a pussy leader that is not very good at being a leader. Or a pussy, for that matter.
we need to respond to this. We need to respond in a way that is appropriate, that is measured but forceful.
This is what you tell someone in college when they're having a hard time talking to girls at a bar. This is not how a prime minister should be talking to people. Nux, your bias is showing. A leader needs to be strong, okay? My bias is that a leader needs to be strong. This guy is folding like a paper airplane. The ice has melted.
That meets the moment. We're certainly not looking to escalate.
He wants to meet the moment and not escalate. He fires back with tariffs. Like, that's gonna help. Like, Trump isn't just gonna make more tariffs on top of his already tariffs. You do know you cannot win this war of attrition. Canada is much more reliant on the United States than the United States is on Canada. You deal with Trump, you try your best, but you really think you can out-bully him? You really think you're gonna hit back with tariffs and he'll hit back with tariffs? So what are you gonna do? 50% tariffs now because you don't wanna look like a little bitch. This is such a terrible idea. Like, it's unbelievable. The budget's not balancing in this way. What are you doing? Oh my God. It's like, it's tragic.
But
He's trying to out-Trump Trump.
we will stand up for Canada, for Canadians.
He says it like it's a question. We will stand up for Canada?
Canadian jobs.
When did you
It's so sad and pathetic. Anyway, he's not going to be around for long, so that's a dub. Someone must have told Trudeau. Oh yeah, right, dude. This is crazy. You don't understand this is so pathetic. This is an opportunity that I think Canada should take to prove that it is willing to play ball with the United States on a fair way, to prove that they are a good ally, and simultaneously strengthen Canada. Because right now, Canada cannot support itself. It is so reliant on the United States. Bro, stand up for Canada. Stand up for Canada, but not like this. Not like this. You're ready to hear his argument. You're ready to hear how he's gonna make Trump bleed with this one.
Part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products.
I love how he's talking like the biggest tragedy that has just befallen mankind.
It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon.
He wants to boycott America. He's talking about this like it's Holocaust too.
Foregoing Florida orange juice
Forgo it.
altogether.
Dude,
it might
stop.
mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada.
Oh, my
and
fucking
explore
God.
the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer.
Don't you think that instead of constantly, for the last however many years, relying on America for orange juice and drinks and vacations, you should have made Canada a place and a successful nation? I'll be real. I love Canada. I do. I love America too. I like Canada and America. Dual citizen here. I like both. The fact that Canada likes being the beta of America, or at least that's how the politicians talk. I don't think that this is how your average Canadian thinks, but I think when I hear politicians speak, they speak like, we love being the bottom, even though we're north. That's what he's basically saying. Forgo good food and drink. Sacrifice it. Well, why not fucking make good food and drink? Bro, Canada invented Crocs. It's the best, it's good. I love Crocs, but come on, man. Anyway, I saw this floating around and I just thought it was important. Trudeau hands out billions to other countries while Canada stand in line at food banks. In the last year, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau provided direct cash aid to, in total, Canada spends over $5 billion a year on direct cash of foreign aid and $20 billion on immigration and refugee programs. When there are people broke in Canada, put the poutine in the bag, bro. Roll over. Now, of course, people on Twitter try very hard to make this America loses. Huge America L. Huge L for America. Breaking. Canada's plans to hit Trump's ally, Elon Musk, directly by applying a 100% tariff on Tesla. Community note. Canada does not plan to put a 100% tariff on Tesla. 110,000 likes. This is the retardation, brain rot, false information bullshit that just flies around. This is pathetic. It is so pathetic. It's unbelievable. Why are you crying so hard? Recognize reality and make the most of it. Oh my God, it's unbearable. Now, following Trump's announcement of tariffs, Mexico conducts the largest fentanyl bust in history, arrests thousands of drug dealers, updates the White House daily in progress. Wow, it's almost like the tariff thing actually did a pretty crazy thing. Canada, fuck you. We'll tariff you dollar for dollar. This is unbearable. It's unbelievable. See, it's crazy. I'm shocked. I, again, think Canada is a great nation. I love Canada. They could do a lot. But I think they need to do a lot more in regards to recognizing the fact that, yes, they are maybe a little bit overly reliant on other people. Maybe. But no self-inflection, no self-introspection at all, because that's not happening. Now, Pierre Poilievre, the next Prime Minister of Canada, says something kind of cool here, I'm not gonna lie. Actually, something that I would think that Trudeau should have said. But no, Trudeau's not gonna say that. But Pierre does.
The tariffs must not be a tax grab. None of the money from the tariffs should stay in government coffers or be spent on unrelated government priorities.
He's basically saying that when Canada puts their retaliatory tariffs on the United States, whatever that'll do, he wants it to come out of Canadians' taxes instead of just go to random bullshit, nebulous Canadian government shit. This is a huge dub for the people. Of course, he doesn't have the power to do that because he's not the Prime Minister yet, but he will be.
All of it should go back to the workers
Yes!
and businesses that are affected.
Yes!
And most of it should go back in the form of a massive tax cut.
Yes!
And that is why I'm calling
Oh my God, a leader actually talking for the people instead of literally talking because of his own ego?
for the passage of an immediate emergency bring it home tax cut. Tax cut would be designed to save jobs, create jobs, crush inflation, and boost our economy. We need to cut taxes on work,
Wow.
investment,
Wow.
energy,
Wow.
home building,
Wow.
and making stuff at home.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be
Let's
very
start
nice.
by axing the liberal carbon tax and the liberal capital gains tax hike. They should
This is crazy, bro.
be the first on the chopping block.
Like, this is such basic shit. I don't, and Trudeau instead decides to, you know, stand there leaning on his stage looking like tragedy befell the country. But this was his statement on Twitter. This was Pierre's statement on Twitter, and I'll be real. This is why he's gonna be the next Prime Minister of Canada. Pre-watch, Nux pre-watch. Yes, I pre-watch elections now. You saw I did that with Trump.
Our friendship with the Americans is not based on any one politician. It is based on our centuries-long history of trade, of friendship, of common defense, of fighting on the battlefield, arms locked together against common enemies. We will continue to build that friendship with the people of the United States. But let me be clear, we are an independent and we are a proud nation. And we will come through this an independent and a proud sovereign nation. We will not back down. We will not cease. We will continue to march forward as proud Canadians. Thank you.
Honestly, that was a good speech. It was a good point. He tackled the point of Trump saying become the 51st state. Even though he didn't directly talk about it, he didn't give it enough credibility because it's not credible. So he didn't give it that much credibility to directly say, we're not becoming the 51st state. We're not doing that. We're not going to do that. You're a bully. You're a bad man in orange. He didn't do that. He just said we're a proud nation and we should actually be Canada first. Because realistically, that is exactly what every government needs to fucking do. Every government needs to do that. I think every country needs to be their own country first. That's crazy. But anywho, Pierre had another thing to say. He had another thing to say that exposes old Trudeau. Old Trudeau! And, are you ready to cook? Are you ready to see, something kind of crazy?
Radical liberalization of hard drugs. He teamed up with the BC NDP to decriminalize fentanyl, crack, and heroin.
Trudeau wanted to decriminalize fentanyl, crack, and heroin. Now, why did Trump make tariffs again?
He lowered jail sentences for mass producers of deadly fentanyl.
Now, why did Trump tariff Canada?
And 80% of the fentanyl made in Canada is done so using ingredients that are not even regulated, but come right into our country where they're cooked into that poison, now threatening our trade relationship with the U.S. Will he reverse his radical liberal drug agenda to save lives and jobs?
Weird, huh? Weird. It's almost like this was a thing that's been discussed in December 2024. It's almost like the thing that Trump is saying actually kind of does work as a bargaining chip. It's almost like he knew what he's going on and he's not the orange retard that the media likes talking about.
He's not there to do the work of delivering based on science, based on compassion, based on public
Based on compassion. You already lost me, bro.
health approach on dealing with the toxic drug epidemic. He is instead continuing to try to score cheap political points on the backs of the most vulnerable. That's not serious. That's not
Talking about Trump.
responsible.
What is not responsible is allowing 80% of the chemicals used in fentanyl manufacturing to come in unregulated and legally. What is not
Like, what the fuck, bro? What are you doing?
responsible is decriminalizing crack, heroin, and fentanyl.
Like
and
what?
then after you see that it leads to a massive increase in deaths, then 2 weeks ago, he, the Bloc, and the NDP all voted in favor of a committee report to decriminalize fentanyl right across the country.
Like, what?
At a time when Canadians are dying and our border could be closed, will the Prime Minister confirm that he has reversed himself and now opposes decriminalization? Yes.
Bro, absolutely, positively cooked that fraud. So when Trump actually wants to do this, I understand you can make the argument it's only 1% of fentanyl that's coming to the US is coming from Canada. 99% is coming from Mexico. There's definitely a reason to want Canada to actually shape up in regards to the United States. Like, it's insane. It is absolutely positively insane. Now, this is very funny because the premier, this guy is basically the governor equivalent of British Columbia, had the greatest take in this entire situation.
For our first of many steps, effective today, I have directed BC liquor sales to immediately stop buying American liquor from red states.
By golly, he solved it. He did it, guys. Guys, he solved it. He ended poverty. He is stopping buying from only red states. This is like, it's so lame. It's like, well, listen, we want to stop buying your bourbon, but at the same time, we really like your bourbon, so we're only boycotting some of you to make you know that. Oh my fucking holy shit! What a retard.
Liquor store employees will be removing the most popular of these brands from government store shelves.
Oh, good. This is unbelievable. Like, you do realize that red states distribute to blue states. That's one. Two, you're retarded. I don't want to explain it. I think you explained it pretty well yourself. What is happening? Now, it gets even funnier. CNN, of course, goes crazy. Goes wild. Their argument is that Canadians are offended.
Understand how hurt and frankly how furious Canadians are.
Canadians are hurt, guys. Wrap it up. Bring them home. End the tariffs. Canadians are hurt. Trump is actually, doing something for America, okay? Now, again, do I understand the methods? I think I do, but I might not. I'm not gonna make believe I understand the methods. Let's make believe I don't, okay? Canadians being hurt should not necessarily be the thing that makes Trump do something different. Realistically, every country needs to do what is best for that country.
Our sovereignty is being challenged, and so yeah, regular Canadians across the country.
Hi, regular Canadian here.
Are coming up with ways to stand for Canada, to fight for Canada, to defend Canada.
Good. Good. Make Canada a great country. Make Canada a great sovereign country. Do that. I agree.
But mostly to say to our American neighbors, guys, just cut it out. Just stop it. This is a terrible idea.
Guys, cut it out. Thank you for speaking on behalf of Canadians. Guys, sorry, cut it out.
And yes, we are going to use all the tools in our toolbox. You mentioned a little bit earlier how the United States depends on China, critical minerals and metals that you need for semiconductors.
Canadian response, classic, we love it. Yes, China, they do in fact need things imported, that's true. But the funniest thing is, everyone's talking about how America is doing evil things with money right now. Why is she talking to us like we're three? Because it's CNN. Everyone's doing that. But now, there is something very interesting that people aren't talking about in regards to the money moving around in the United States of America. And that very funny thing, and the reason why I wanted to mention this specifically is because everyone is shitting on Trump in regards to his money policies. But listen to this. This is Volodymyr Zelensky, by the way, the president or prime minister, whatever, of Ukraine.
Дивіться, я коли чую, і раніше, і сьогодні ми чуємо від сплатів, що Америка дала Україні.
So, according to America gave Ukraine $177 billion.
Шотів, якщо сказати, більш така звучала цифра, або голосував Конгрес, тощо різні організації. Дивіться, я як...
As the president of a warring country, I tell you we received 75. Where are the other $102 billion that were allegedly sent to Ukraine during the Biden administration? Now, you could shit on Trump all you want. Realistically, you could shit on everyone. I think every politician is worthy of lots of criticism. I think by the fact that they got there is insane. Now, I don't know. Holy shit, we were right. Zelensky claims Ukraine received 75 billion of the 177 billion sent in aid. Where did the money go? I don't know. I have no idea where the money went. I don't know. Did it go to Zelensky's pocket? Did it go to the Biden administration? Did it go to rich people? I have no idea. What I do know is no one's talking about this. Ever. I've never seen anyone talk about this. Now, interestingly enough, just in, President Trump to hold talks with Canada and Mexico tomorrow to discuss tariffs. Almost like it was one giant chess move for business purposes that might actually make the country better for America and not completely fuck over all of Canada in the process. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But I, personally, like the chaos. Everyone going crazy. Let's go. Let them go crazy. Let the chaos happen. Meltdowns continue. I love meltdowns. We love meltdowns here. We support meltdowns. We subscribe for more meltdowns on this channel. Lots of meltdowns. The tariffs probably won't do anything anyway. Let me just say that the the tariffs will probably not completely buttfuck the Canadian and American economy, because it probably was always just a marketing tool to make things better for America as a whole, which was what I basically said the whole time. Even though I think personally tariffs are cringe, I don't think tariffs are going to be a lasting, long-running thing when it comes to allies of America. I think tariffs are mostly going to be implemented for countries like China and other countries. Those will probably be economic tariffs, and I think the Canadian ones will be used to get things done the way Trump wants. You know, completely illegalize all forms of fentanyl, beef up the border, equal trade, don't fuck with America, and I think that's the message he's trying to get across. And I'll be honest, I think it is the message he's trying to get across, even though this is an incredibly cringe photo. So, subscribe for more meltdowns. There will always be meltdowns. This has been the Canadian-American take on the entire situation. Lots of cringe. Cryo Trump every 4 years. He'll come back, win again. Back into stasis. Subscribe for more chaos. I didn't see anyone actually cover this entire thing from literally day A to day Z. So I guess I had to do it. Blue Retard, signing out.
We got a #1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we bout to get down. 10 kills on the board right now. Just wiped out Tomato Town. My friend has gone down.
Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.